Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Ene, mene, timpe, toe. Ene, mene, daspe, dam, da, das.
Every day, on playgrounds from London to Berlin and Istanbul to New York, children play a simple game. They point fingers and recite a rhythmic, nonsensical nursery rhyme to decide who is in or out. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. In Germany, they chant ene, mene, timpe, tu. It seems like nothing more than a modern piece of transient folklore. But in 1990, philologists studying a 1,500-year-old Buddhist manuscript recovered from the deserts of Xinjiang, Central Asia, made a discovery that sent shockwaves through linguistics. Written in an ancient, long-forgotten script was a sacred Sanskrit invocation mantra. Ene, mene, dasve, dandadasve. How did a sacred, mystical chant from ancient India travel across thousands of miles, cross religious boundaries, mutate over a millennium, and wind up as a children's playground game in Western Europe? This bizarre connection forces us to confront a much larger, more unsettling question. If a trivial nursery rhyme can survive for thousands of years and migrate across continents, what about our deepest, most sacred stories? When we look at the creation myths of the world, from the icy fjords of Iceland to the isolated islands of Polynesia and the high volcanic peaks of the Maya, we find something astonishing. They don't just share vague themes. They share the exact same structural narrative. How is this possible? Are our minds simply hardwired to generate the same stories spontaneously? Or is there a lost, prehistoric thread, a single ancient script carried by our ancestors before they scattered across the globe? Let's look at the evidence. Imagine you are an anthropologist traveling in the 19th century. You land on the coast of New Zealand and hear the sacred chants of the Maori. They tell you that in the beginning, Father Heaven and Mother Earth were locked in a suffocating, dark, eternal embrace. To create light and life, their son Tain had to physically stand between them, using a massive wooden pillar to push the heavy sky upward. As heaven was torn away, his tears fell to the earth as rain. You write this down, thinking it's a beautiful, unique local legend. But then, you open the ancient Greek theogony of Hesiod. And there, you find Atlas standing at the edge of the earth, physically propping up the bronze sky on his shoulders to keep it from crushing the world. You travel to ancient India and open the Rig Veda. There, you read of the god Indra, who stands between heaven and earth, pushing the sky upward with his hands to create space for the living. Wait a minute. How could three cultures, separated by tens of thousands of miles of ocean and land, with no historical contact, dream up the exact same, highly specific visual metaphor? The prostrate parents, the physical propping of the sky, the tears of rain. For decades, the standard response from evolutionary psychology was simple. Cognitive universals. Human beings, faced with the flat earth and the domed sky, simply arrived at the same poetic metaphor. It's a trick of the human eye. But does this psychological explanation actually hold up under scientific scrutiny? This is where the work of Harvard comparative philologist E.J. Michael Witzel enters the story. Witzel proposed a highly controversial, yet deeply fascinating hypothesis. What if these myths are not spontaneous creations of the human mind, but historical inheritances, cultural fossils? Witzel suggests that to find the answer, we must divide the spiritual geography of our species into two distinct migrations. He calls them Gondwana and Laurasia. According to his model, when anatomically modern humans left Africa around 65,000 years ago, the first southern migration wave settled in sub-Saharan Africa Australia, and Papua New Guinea. Witzel argues that the mythologies of these Gondwana regions are fundamentally different. They don't care about how the universe was created from nothing. In their stories, the earth, sky, and ocean are eternal. Humans simply walk into a world that already exists, and crucially, these stories have no ending. There is no prophecy of a final apocalypse. But then, Witzel points to a second northern migration wave, the ancestors of Eurasians and Native Americans. According to his hypothesis, as these people pushed into the cold, harsh steppes of Siberia and eventually crossed into the Americas, their mythology underwent a massive, radical transformation. They did something humans had never done before. They arranged their isolated myths into a chronological, linear sequence. If Witzel's model is correct, they wrote a script that starts with a watery chaos, moves to the separation of heaven and earth, progresses through the slaying of a primeval serpent to release the sun, details a great cleansing flood, and culminates in a violent, fiery end of the world. It is a beautiful theory. But is there actual empirical proof to back up such an audacious claim? For a long time, Witzel's ideas were criticized as romantic speculation. But recently, a new generation of researchers decided to test this prehistoric script using modern computational science. Enter the detectives of digital mythology. First, Russian mythologist Yuri Berezkin compiled a massive, unprecedented database of thousands of mythological motifs across the globe. When he mapped the distribution of these motifs, he didn't find a random scatterplot. Instead, Berezkin's data revealed a stark, undeniable geographical split. The complex linear creation-to-apocalypse storyline was heavily concentrated in Eurasia and the Americas, exactly where Witzel's Laurasian path predicted. Then, French researcher Julien took a step even further. He realized that myths behave exactly like biological species. Like genes, elements of a story, called mythms, are passed down from generation to generation, mutating slowly over time. Dewey imported computational algorithms from evolutionary biology, a method called phylogenetic analysis. He fed the algorithms hundreds of versions of a single myth, like the cosmic hunt or the Pygmalion myth, collected from all over the world. The computer was asked to build a family tree of these stories based purely on structural mutations. The result? The computer generated an evolutionary tree of myths that almost perfectly matched the ancient migration routes of human DNA. For example, when looking at the myth of a hunter chasing a celestial animal that becomes a constellation, the computational tree showed that the myth crossed the Bering Strait into the Americas at different, distinct periods, perfectly aligning with the ancient waves of human migration. This was no longer just literary comparison. It was statistical, empirical support for a Paleolithic origin of stories. So, where does this leave us? Are we looking at the ultimate proof of a 40,000-year-old prehistoric novel? Or is this scientific model itself a beautiful illusion? Anthropologists and linguists remain deeply divided. Critics of Witzel and Dewey argue that statistical modeling cannot capture the fluid, chaotic nature of oral storytelling. They point out that stories are constantly borrowed, invented, and forgotten through trade and interaction, not just inherited in a straight line. To them, the Laurasian script might just be a template of how the human brain naturally organizes complex thoughts over time, rather than a physical scroll carried out of Siberia. But perhaps the true power of this research lies not in finding a final, definitive answer, but in what it reveals about our collective identity. If Witzel, Berezkin, and Dewey are even partially correct, it means that when we sit in a dark theater today, watching a modern cinematic hero battle a multi-headed monster, or when we look at the stars and imagine the end of the world, we are not experiencing something new. We are reading the very same chapters of a cosmic novel drafted by our ancestors in the freezing dark of the Ice Age. A novel that survived ice caps, continental drifts, and the rise and fall of entire civilizations, kept alive by nothing more than the human voice. We have always been, and perhaps always will be, a species searching for its own beginning. This is just one chapter in a much longer story. In the episodes ahead, we'll keep tracing the threads of humanity's oldest narratives, following the evidence wherever it leads, whether it confirms our theories or breaks them. What do you think? Inheritance or coincidence? Leave your theory in the comments below. If you want to keep unraveling the human story with us, subscribe. Every episode adds another fragment to the puzzle. See you in the next chapter.